The New York State Athletic Commission has overturned the Dawn Davis versus Roach fight result, sending shockwaves through the boxing world. Fans who deemed the original decision a robbery have finally been heard. CompuBox numbers confirmed Roach outlanded Davis in total punches and jabs, revealing how the initial decision may have favored
Over a spectacular fighter. I told you out from the beginning, man, I got the skills to pay them.
WBA President Gilberto Mendoza had already confirmed a rematch was in the works, but with the commission's intervention, Tank is no longer the winner. His undefeated record, held for years, is now tarnished, sparking immediate backlash from fans and the boxing community.
New York State Athletic Commission is reviewing the results of the fight, and it's based on that knockdown, which is extremely important, because if that is...
Davis, who had been hinting at a May rematch, is now facing it under entirely different circumstances. What was supposed to be a straightforward title defense has turned into a situation of damage control. His fans, who had long insisted he was the face of boxing, now find themselves scrambling for explanations. Rather than waiting for them to offer excuses, Davis took matters into his own hands, placing the blame on his hairstylist. "She put grease in my hair. So when I started sweating, the grease ran into my face and burned my eyes," Davis explained to the crowd at Barclays Center. However, his attempt to explain his struggles was met with boos, not sympathy. "This is a real fact. Look at my hair. I just got it done," he continued. "But it's all cool, man. They love you, then they hate you, turn around, and they'll love you again." The crowd's reaction showed the tension surrounding his situation. Tank's excuse about the hair grease did not sit well with the boxing world. Fans immediately took to social media, mocking Tank for blaming hair products instead of admitting Roach outboxed him. Memes flooded in, with fans posting pictures of hair products, tagging Tank, and joking that Roach's real strategy was a bottle of hair oil. It wasn't just fans who had something to say, though. Tank's own hairstylist, known as I Leave the Brand on Instagram, fired back, calling out Tank for making excuses. "I did his hair Wednesday, it's Saturday, he did press, gym, and weigh-ins," the stylist posted, rejecting Tank's excuse. "That's no excuse. How much grease did I use?" They even posted a photo from their salon to prove there wasn't an excess amount of product applied, stating, "Take a look around, there's no overload of grease." Fans quickly rallied behind the stylist, pointing out that if Tank was blaming something as minor as hair grease, it suggested he had bigger problems. Some even compared it to classic boxing excuses, like fighters blaming their ring walk outfits for slowing them down. But this situation was different. Tank was exposed in a way no one anticipated. The overturned result has dramatically shifted the public's perception of Tank. He was once the fighter who always got the benefit of the doubt, the knockout artist who could never lose because the business of boxing wouldn't allow it. Now, all of that has changed. The commission stepping in like this is extremely rare, and it takes a major controversy for them to erase a fighter's win. The New York State Athletic Commission admitted to a technical error that prevented them from reviewing the replay when they needed to, exposing a clear issue in the original decision.
Honestly, I thought I should have won without that being counted a knockdown. Look, I ain't the ref. I ain't really, you know what I'm saying? Like, if he had to wipe sweat out his eye, he had to wipe sweat out his eye. But the rules do state, if you voluntarily take a knee, then that's automatic A game. But it is what it is. I wasn't relying on that. I was relying on what I was doing, and I think I was.
Tank's excuse about hair grease didn't sit well with the boxing world. Fans flooded social media, mocking him for blaming hair products instead of admitting that Roach outboxed him. Memes began circulating, with fans posting images of hair products, tagging Tank, and joking that Roach's real strategy was a bottle of hair oil. But it wasn't just the fans who had something to say. Tank's own hairstylist, known as I Leave the Brand on Instagram, quickly fired back. I did his hair Wednesday. It's Saturday. He did press, gym, and weigh-ins, the stylist posted, rejecting Tank's excuse. That's no excuse. How much grease did I use? The stylist even shared a photo from their salon, showing that there wasn't an excessive amount of product used, stating, "Take a look around. There's no overload of grease." Fans rallied behind the stylist, arguing that if Tank was blaming something as minor as hair grease, it showed bigger problems. Some even compared it to other infamous boxing excuses, like fighters blaming their ring walk outfits for slowing them down. But this wasn't just another excuse. Tank had been exposed in a way no one saw coming. The overturned result completely shifted how the public saw Tank. He was once the fighter who always got the benefit of the doubt, the knockout artist who could never lose because the business of boxing wouldn't allow it. Now, that perception is gone. The New York State Athletic Commission's rare decision to step in and erase a fighter's win signaled something significant. They admitted to a technical error that prevented them from reviewing the
definitely an off night for Tank, but Lamont Roach is the guy, man. He showed up, and Tank gave him a tremendous amount of respect in the fight, and we saw why. I mean, he's a great counterpuncher, he's very high boxing IQ. He always says, "I hit harder than people think, I hit harder than my record says." He stunned Tank several times. Tank looked like the guy.
Tank had finally been caught, and the system that had protected him for so long had failed him this time. His biggest critics were now celebrating. Then, Terence Crawford weighed in. Crawford, who had never been a fan of Tank's flashy lifestyle, often criticized him for prioritizing social media clout over boxing legacy. For years, Crawford claimed Tank was being protected, avoiding the toughest competition while still being marketed as a superstar. With the fight officially overturned, Crawford couldn't hold back. "This dude has been talking like he runs the sport," Crawford tweeted. Well, the sport just told him otherwise. Crawford didn't stop there. He aimed directly at Tank's fanbase, the same people who had spent years claiming Davis was the face of boxing. All y'all talking about Tank, the face of boxing? Well, the face just took an L. Crawford fired back. Tank's once untouchable record now had a stain that he couldn't erase. To Crawford, this was karma. He had long called out Tank for avoiding fights with Devin Haney and Shaka Stevenson. And now, he was watching Tank lose to Roach, someone who wasn't even seen as a serious threat. Crawford had always believed Tank had an easy road.
Maybe the opponent, Lamont Roach, actually got stronger moving up 5 pounds to 135 pounds. He was able to take Tank shots without ever really being in any serious trouble. That, I think, was unusual and disconcerting.
Tank had long been the fighter who avoided real risks, waiting for the perfect opponent while still being praised like a king. But with the fight overturned, everything was collapsing. How are you going to avoid the likes of Shaker just to lose to Roach? Crawford asked, clearly enjoying the moment. Ryan Garcia also wasted no time rubbing it in. As soon as the New York State Athletic Commission overturned Tank's draw against Lamont Roach, Ryan took to social media. "I called it, told you all he lost that fight," Ryan posted. "The commission did the right thing. Tank got exposed." Ryan and Tank had a long-standing rivalry, fueled by Tank's knockout victory over Ryan. Since then, Ryan had been on a mission to prove Tank wasn't as great as people thought. Every time Tank won, Ryan would call him protected and overrated. Now, with the commission stepping in and overturning the result, Ryan had all the ammunition he needed. He wasn't done yet, and the boxing world was watching as his words gained more weight. Tank fans have been lying to themselves for years, Ryan continued. "Dude ain't that good. He just got saved every time he fought. Now the commission can't even protect him anymore." Ryan didn't stop there. He brought up Lamont Roach and posted a video of Tank taking a knee, the moment that sparked all the controversy. But it wasn't just the video that got people talking, it was Ryan's caption, "No heart, quitter energy." Tank's biggest strength had always been his image. He was the bully, the street fighter, the knockout artist. But now, he was the guy who took a knee. Ryan made sure the world saw it, exposing a vulnerable side of Tank that many had never imagined. Ryan had just dealt a powerful blow to Tank's carefully crafted persona.
Tank gets a lot of criticism for not knocking Lamont out and Lamont not being a big name, so they overblow it.
I think so, yeah, and I feel like people just don't like Tank to a point where any little thing, just because he ain't knocking him out, he probably feel as though that he lost, and he didn't, or it was a draw. I feel like Tank was doing a lot of smart things in the beginning. Moving a little bit too much.
Shaka Stevenson had been watching everything unfold quietly, but once the ruling was official, he spoke up. Shaka and Tank had been trading jabs on social media for months, teasing a fight that never materialized. Tank called Shaka boring, while Shaka said Tank was all hype. Now, with Tank officially losing, Shaka had all the proof he needed. He didn't need to say much. Shaka simply posted, "I knew what it was. Now, let's see if he still wants to talk crazy." The message was clear. Shaka was ready for the fight.
Big Money Mayweather, one of the greats, one of the legends, one of the GOATs, said to himself, "Sugar Tank Davis." So we know that Tank Davis loves to be painting his nails, wearing stilettos, wearing them purses. How many pay-per-view buys does this Roach Jr. coming up for 130? How many buys do you think this does, my brother?
I mean, 350.
Shaka Stevenson went live on Instagram, shaking his head at the news, as if he'd seen it coming. "You see how the boxing gods work," he said. "That man was out here acting like he was the boogeyman, calling me boring. But now look, he got whooped, dropped, and had his W taken away." Then came the challenge he'd been waiting to make for months. Maybe now he can just fight me and stop running. With Tank's undefeated record gone and his invincibility shattered, the question became, what's next? Tank no longer had the same leverage. He couldn't act untouchable anymore. If he truly wanted to prove himself, he had to step up and face the toughest competition.
Look, I want some money tonight. That's all I'm happy for. I want money tonight.
Shakur, tell us something, bro. Like, what did you think about the decision?
I ain't gonna sit on him.
Okay.
We still gotta see each other. He say he wanna fight me, so we gonna fight.
Well, what do you think about the decision?
I told him I won.
You told him on one. Got you. I'll talk to you later.
The plan for Lamont Roach is to stay calm, stay sharp, and show Davis that he's not intimidated. If Roach can do that, he has a real shot at breaking down the walls Davis typically builds around his opponents. Meanwhile, Davis has been stirring up confusion with his unpredictable behavior. For months, the Baltimore native has made several eyebrow-raising comments about his career, throwing his fans into a state of uncertainty. It all began on Christmas Eve, when Davis dropped a bombshell that left everyone questioning what was going on. Out of nowhere, he claimed that his highly anticipated showdown with Roach, one fans had eagerly been waiting for, was cancelled. There was no explanation, no follow-up statement, just a social media post that left the boxing world scratching its head.
Talk to me about the mental preparation going to this fight with Lamont. Fans, they kind of sleeping on Lamont, but you know Lamont fights out. Y'all fought.
Yeah, people don't know him, but Lamont is a good fighter. Like he ain't no slouch. Like I fought him in an amateur.
Naturally, fans jumped to conclusions, speculating that it might be another one of Tank's infamous meltdowns. The unpredictability of Davis' statements wasn't new, but this time, it felt different. The timing was strange, and with no support from his team or anyone else, it seemed like yet another instance of Davis throwing a wrench into his own plans. Just when it seemed like the fight might slip through everyone's fingers, Lamont Roach and his father, Lamont Sr., stepped in to clear the air. They issued statements reassuring fans that the fight was still on track for its scheduled date. Though the situation could have easily spiraled into chaos, both fighters managed to keep the focus on their upcoming showdown. Despite the brief confusion, the momentum didn't falter. Now, both Roach and Davis are fully locked in for their March 1st, 2025 bout at Barclays Center in Brooklyn.
There's a rematch clause, people, so get ready for 2 fights. But, yes, and after I beat him the second time, I probably would ask the WBA to let me go up to 140 and fight Riot.
Roach, for his part, was just as baffled as the rest when the cancellation rumors began circulating. While fans on social media were panicking, Roach wasn't getting caught up in the drama. During a recent Q&A session on his YouTube channel, he addressed the situation with his usual calm demeanor. When a fan asked why people were saying the fight was cancelled or that he pulled out, Roach smiled, acknowledging the question, and explained his side. Gervonta Davis is like a wild card, Roach said. You never know what he's going to do next. The 29-year-old Washington native admitted that Davis's unpredictability was something he had to learn to deal with over the years. He wasn't fazed by the rumors or confusion. Instead, Roach stayed focused on what he could control, showing his ability to stay grounded amid the chaos.
One's been able to solve Tank Davis. What do you need to do together with you and your team and obviously your son to score that victory?
We know we got a game plan. We're going to execute it, and we're going to get it
Move
off the
that
seat.
head, move that head, bob and weave, bob and weave.
Roach has seen it all in his journey and isn't about to let Davis' eccentricities throw him off course. By now, Roach knows Davis well enough to understand that Tank is his own person, and his decisions often don't make sense from the outside. Whether it's an emotional tweet or a cryptic post, Davis consistently keeps people guessing about his next move. However, Roach isn't bothered by the mental games Tank plays with the boxing world. For Roach, it's business as usual. He has his own fight to prepare for, and nothing is going to distract him from that goal. The mental aspect of boxing is just as important as physical preparation, and Roach is staying mentally sharp for his biggest challenge yet. I don't let that stuff affect me, Roach said, making it clear that he's not about to get wrapped up in drama or rumors. Instead, he's channeling all that energy into preparing himself for what could be the fight of his life. Roach knows that beating Davis would change everything: his career, his life, and his legacy. But for now, he's focused on keeping his eyes on the prize and letting the outside noise roll off his back. His determination and clarity remain unwavering as he prepares for the challenge ahead. Intro 15. As the countdown to their showdown in Brooklyn continues, it's clear that Roach is fully focused and locked in. His camp is already underway, and he's preparing for Davis in the most professional way possible. Gervonta Davis looks sharp and ready to go, with his weight already close to fighting form. While other fighters, like Kenson Davis, often carry excess weight during training camp, Tank remains lean and well prepared. Kenson typically looks more like a welterweight before cutting down to 135 ounces, but Tank doesn't rely on drastic weight cuts for an advantage. He's a natural lightweight, not someone trying to game the system by shedding pounds at the last minute.
It's gonna be a party.
And I'm gonna let y'all know something. His father was up here shaking on the what's his name? He was shaking on the
Thank everybody that played a part in it. My team, Roberto Diaz, Gary Jonas.
On my kids, he was shaking on this time. On my kids, he was shaking. How you gonna say his cat? And Gary gonna say his cat?
Interestingly, Tank's longtime trainer, Calvin Ford, hasn't been seen much lately, sparking speculation that the two may have parted ways. Ford has been a constant presence in Tank's career, so his absence hasn't gone unnoticed by fans and insiders. Leonard Ellerb, who knows Davis well, weighed in during a conversation on the laboratory with Plaz. He reflected on Tank's recent announcement about retiring after 3 more fights, saying he understood the mindset behind it. I can understand where he's coming from, Ellerb said. Things are different when you have kids. It changes your life. It completely changes your life. Ellerb also pointed out how Tank views things differently now compared to 6 or 7 years ago. If that's what he said, that he's retiring, then we all heard him. But it's never good enough, and sometimes that can be frustrating, Ellerb shared. He emphasized the toll that pressure from fans and the constant demand for more fights can take on a fighter. There's more to life than just what you do for a living, Elo continued. You have to respect the fans who pay their money to see you fight, but there's a life outside of boxing. Fans want you to keep going, but they often don't care about your health afterward.